Notice mine's blank.
Are you a zero inbox guy then?
Am I?
Too? Do you know about this zero inbox?
Are you talking about messages in my inbox? I
Yeah.
think I have 21,780.
Well, you said you were very proud of the fact that your whiteboard was clean. I thought maybe you were like,
No, I'm just shocked. I did it for this. I cleaned it.
okay, all right.
I don't
Oh,
want you.
Is it Myrtle?
yes.
I don't want you guys to know what I have to remind myself. Like pick up kid at 4. I didn't want you to be like, wow, he needs to remind you of that.
Aw,
Myrtle exists. Look at that.
there's Myrtle.
No, that's a cute.
Hello, Myrtle.
The fabled model tortoiseshell.
Oh, mine left. I was going to show you, but mine left.
I was gonna bring my dog in today because I'm the only one in my office. So if you want to talk about working from home, well, I guess this is it because I'm the only one here.
Well, Tim, I want to know how many trophies are up there to your left?
This is an invitational that I play in every year.
Okay.
And the one back here, which is taller than these guys, is the one I actually won in 2021. And then in 11, 16, and 14, I was runner up.
Okay.
Well, me and my partner were runner up.
So you're a good golfer then.
I'm okay.
Okay, like you're a scratch golfer and just not on the tour, or like
I mean, I should be on the tour for sure, but no, I don't think they want a 4. I'm very confident the worst golfer on the PGA Tour is still like a +8. So,
okay. All right. All right. You have a kid that's a rock star tennis player?
Per Augie.
Yeah.
yeah, Augie likes to brag about my kid more than I do. So yeah, my son's a junior and he's a 3-time Michigan Division I state champion.
Wow.
Yeah,
So cool.
yeah. He can
So
play.
cool.
He can
So
play.
what is that? What is his major?
Major. You mean like what do you mean?
I mean, where will he be in 5 years?
Oh, probably in my basement. I don't know, it's funny, Rob, you'd say that because he also plays baseball and he's a junior in high school. So,
Mhm.
and he probably gets recruited more for baseball. So I don't know. I don't know. He's also me and he doesn't want to he wants to go to a big school. And although he's really good at both of those sports, I don't know if he's like Michigan good or Michigan State good. And he doesn't want to, his line to me is, and I hate to say this because I don't know my crowd. So if anyone went to Aquinas, I apologize. But his line is, I don't want to be 32 years old cheering for Aquinas. That's like his line. He wants to go to a major school. So we'll
I
see.
don't know. I don't know where Aquinas is.
See that I didn't offend anyone. It's a very small school in Chicago.
Okay.
Actually, I don't even know if it's in Chicago. I think it's in Chicago. I think it's in Illinois.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Something new today.
I know. Aquinas University. They want
We
to
are
play tennis there.
our the Democratic convention is in Chicago this summer.
That's what I hear.
I may have to check that out. Depending on when the conference is. I don't know when convention. I've got conference on my mind. Anyway, so Melissa, you should be talking mortgage. We should be, talking about how Tim recruits LOs and all that kind of stuff.
All right, I'll go ahead and get us started then. Not normally, you're not the one who normally like pulls us back into things. But I'll go ahead and kick us off. Happy Friday, everybody. I am Melissa Langdale. If we have not met before, I'm the president and the COO of the Mortgage Collaborative. We're super excited that you are with us today. As always, I'm joined by Rob Chrisman. And today we have actually two very special guests with us. We have Tim Pascarella, who's the president of Ross Mortgage Corporation. And we also have Mimi Paxson, who is TMC's new VP of Business Development. If y'all have not met her, we're going to have her tell a little bit about her story. Yes, we're very excited that Mimi is with us.
I'll pay you guys for this. Thank you.
Oh, do you have a Mac, Rob? Can you do
No, I
it?
was just imitating you because when you do that, magic things happen.
Come out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
No,
I don't.
no, it's
Yeah.
totally
Tim,
magic.
I didn't tell you that Melissa's a witch.
I am
Right.
not a witch.
I don't know how you just did that.
You don't know how I did it? So this Mac thing, I'll do a, there's like lasers you can do. This is super entertaining, I know, Friday afternoon. I figured out that like a peace sign is balloons. There you go. 2 thumbs up. And, oh, you can also make it rain. You ready? You can do 2 thumbs down and it'll rain. So it's super
What
sad.
happens when you flip somebody off, Melissa?
I don't know. I've not tried it yet, but we're not going to do that today.
No?
Oh man, try it.
No, no. I've
Poor Mimi.
not tried that one yet.
Yeah.
All right, we got to impress me. We got to impress Mimi. We won't try it right now.
Yeah, Mimi-san, we have to behave a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and kick things off. Let's have everybody get to know Mimi a little bit. Mimi, would you do a little bit of an introduction to everybody? Maybe share a little bit about your background.
Yes, sure. So this is my third week with TMC. I live in Dallas and I've been in the industry for about 25 years. I started as an originator and I worked in correspondent lending, operations, some default servicing, and I've been in the business development role for various mortgage solutions for a long time. I've worked with another co-op before too, so I can relate to the lender's perspective of things as well as the partner's perspective of things. So in this role, I'm excited to leverage my experience to lead our preferred partners network at TMC. As you know, we have a great team. Everybody here knows that. And I had a chance to meet a number of our partners on this platform. So we've got some exciting initiatives, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with everybody and continue to bring relevant solutions to our platform, to our members and our members across the board, not just partners, but lenders too, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's me.
So Mimi, I'm always the politically incorrect one on these calls.
Bring it.
How did you win? I mean, I know that TMC was interviewing scores of people for that position. What made you win? Why did you get the nod and leaving so many carcasses in your wake for that position?
Oh, well, I think maybe that would be more of a Melissa question. I would like to know that too.
Melissa's too politically correct. She'll
I
just say, "Ah, shucks," and blush and change the subject.
It's real.
Well, it's real. You know, we had great conversations and in talking about, you know, what we want to look at in the future. You know, we brainstormed on ideas even in our initial conversations. I think that there's a lot of things that we're going to be able to do for the cooperative, and perhaps that's the reason why that, you know, we had a lot of great ideas to be able to bring to the table.
She's
Great
right.
question, Rob.
See,
I'm gonna-
Mimi's way nicer than I am, Rob. When people ask me how I got on this show, I said the first 20 people had schedule conflicts.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to ask Tim and Mimi a question. I just want one word answer.
Hmm.
Tim, going into a bar in the last 6 months, how many times have you been carded?
None.
Mimi?
I haven't been to a bar in 6 months, so none.
Oh, wow. All right, same answer. Who would have guessed? All right, I'm done. Melissa, take it away. Oh, we
That's it.
haven't heard about Ross Mortgage though yet.
Yes, I would love to hear about Ross Mortgage. Ross, or Tim, for those that don't know anything about Ross, can you share a little bit about your organization?
We're just a little engine that could. We've been around. We actually, this year is our 75-year anniversary. So people always ask, you know, how's that possible? And I just say I drink the fountain of youth, man. It's just easy. So no, Tim Ross and his father started in the 80s, bought a company. Long story short, for servicing, had to take on that founding date. So it's 75 years. 1949 is our founding date. I've been here. I'm a unicorn in this industry. I've been at Ross Mortgage since I was 24 years old, and I didn't know there was a T in mortgage when I joined. Just found out last year, and now here I am, the president and part owner of the company. So pays to stay, I guess. So it's we're a correspondent lender. We're located in Troy, Michigan, licensed in 22 states, doing business in about 9 of them.
Are you still originating some?
I do. I'll never stop originating. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I like it too much.
It's
Why? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Rob.
Why is Michigan? Tim, you've answered this question probably dozens of times. Why is Michigan such a mortgage? It's like Texas, California, Michigan. Those are like the big 3. I mean, in terms
Yeah.
of headquarters. Why?
Yeah, that's a it's funny you asked that, because when I first started in this business, it was North Carolina. You remember? You had B of A, you had US Bank, they were all in North Carolina. So I think that Rocket obviously had a ton to do with it. Well, you know what? I'll start even before then. Flagstar, had a ton to do with it. Rock Financial back in the day turned Rocket, had a just astronomical thing to do with it. And I think what happens when you have a Rocket, I won't talk about UWM, but Rocket, what the nice thing about Rocket is that we all got to ride their coattails. And so a lot of really good independent banks come from Michigan as well. And I would venture to guess a lot of those owners and a lot of the people that have started those companies in the last 20 years probably had something to do with Rocket at one point or another too. So I just think that, Rocket was a great, it was a great story because, obviously, I know him personally, Dan, he believed in the internet before anyone else, so, I mean, Tim Ross and his dad, when his dad was alive, would tell I thought it was funny. I don't think they found it so funny, but Dan, when he was all over the internet and just being like, this is the next thing, he took Tim, Hugh, and a couple other IMBs around this area out to lunch and, told them his idea and wanted everyone to come together and do it. And I think Hugh Ross, who's the original owner here, like patted him on the head, said that was a cute idea and bought lunch. So definitely didn't. I think they might have missed the boat on that one, but I think Rocket and Flagstar Rocket, obviously UWM is a juggernaut as well. And I just think that once one comes around, the other ones want to take them down, and by default, they both get really big. At one point, we had 3 of the top 5 mortgage lenders in the country not too long ago here headquartered in Michigan. So that was pretty insane. We had UWM, Flagstar, and Rocket. That was pretty wild.
Still do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you throw in Ross and Success Partners, and
yeah,
I mean, it's
more one that always is under the radar that I love. He used to work here, and he's one of my mentors. Is Mark Workins over at Mortgage One. I mean, he's been over $1 billion forever. He's a good company, and he just flies under the radar. But he's been a huge success here in Michigan.
Are they a TMC member, Melissa?
I've tried. They don't. There's 2 of them that really run the company, and I don't know what they're doing. I've tried though. I'd love to have them join.
You don't have to speak for them, Tim.
There you go.
All right, can we move on to mortgage questions a little bit deeper? Is that okay, Rob?
I shifted the topic on the mortgage, Melissa. I'll have you know. I asked Tim about, anyway, go on.
All right. Tim, we were talking a little bit before we went live about recruiting in the mortgage world today. I mean, obviously that is what a lot of companies are looking at to grow their volume. What are kind of the biggest challenges you see in the market, and then what are some of the successes?
That's a really good question. I think some of the biggest challenges are also our successes internally. I went from like recruiting Rockstar to it's very hard to recruit, especially to a smaller IMB. The amount of M&As that happened over the last 24 months makes it hard for me to say, hey, come join us in the first. I mean, let's put it this way. Before 2022, I was never asked, well, how big are you? I was never asked that in a recruiting interview or lunch or whatever. I've never been asked that question. I get asked that question every single time. I get asked, how big are you? And I get asked, what is your plans for the future? So I think, so that's the challenges. The success is that my retention has never been better. I think that people are kind of scared frozen right now. Like, I don't think they want to move, even though I know we hear of people moving and it still happens for sure. We have something in the works right now that's going to be pretty cool for us if it happens. But, so I mean, people are definitely still moving, but the amount of effort that you have to put in to get people to move today versus, even pre-pandemic is night and day. So the challenge is why? That's the biggest challenge every company has. I mean, with technology increasing like it is lately, what makes you better than anyone else? I mean, that always is tongue in cheek for me because I struggle with it, because at the end of the day, I mean, I'm fun. I mean, like, why? I mean, work with people you like. I don't know. I mean, we all do mortgage. No one has some magic elixir on how to do a mortgage better than the next guy. I mean, we all abide by the same rules for the most part. We all sell to the same aggregators for the most part. We're all Fannie and Freddie for the most part. I mean, you got to find a way to differentiate yourself in some other way. And I totally was kidding about I'm fun, but I'm not gonna lie, I use that sometimes. Is that like, hey, don't if you have to choose one of them, right? Don't you want to work with someone you like? I mean, like,
And
that's kind of my theory.
no, a loan officer is making a move now would have to give up their pipeline, right?
Yeah, you got to prove they got one too. That's the other thing, is people were hanging on to 2020 and 2021 for way too long. I mean, think about movement. And I'm a fan of that company, but I don't have any facts. I don't know how much they spent, but they were spending so much money in the beginning of 2022 for everyone to do 45% less, and they were using 2021 numbers to justify paying for it. Like, I don't know how that worked out for them, but I can't imagine, it had to have been tough, because I think these sign-on bonuses, you're only as good as your last year. Well, if your last year was 2021 and you took a sign-on bonus in 2022 based on 2021, the chances that you match that number are less than 5%. So I think that the ease of the challenging, having to go up against those signing bonuses definitely lessened. So that's good. Like I said, I think you just got to prove to these people that they'll grow with you, and that you're about having fun while doing this job. Because that's the other thing too, the last 2 years did to a lot of people, is it took the fun out of it. So you got to kind of show them that you can still have fun and do this job, and you got to show them too that this is still really cool what we do. I mean, I still every day love what I do.
That and it shows. Have signing bonuses disappeared, or are they still out there?
They're still out there, but not anything like it was. I used to have guys and gals come in, and they'd bring like 3 offers, and they didn't even care what I could do for them. They were just like, "Can you do any of this?" And I'd be like, "No, not go away." Like, I got really lucky that I did 3. I did 3 that I would consider substantial, and 2 out of the 3 I killed it on. And one I it's yet to be seen. But I mean, some of these that I saw were just, there's no way. I mean, actually, some of them I was so intrigued by it. I've checked it through Model Match. They lost. Like, they did not make their money back 100%, so that's a tough one too.
I have a question in the chat that it would be good to address. He's asking, how about newly licensed folks? As you're considering giving people a chance to join your organization, how do you kind of balance the fresh blood in the industry with great innovative ideas and the, tried and true, I've got, 100 relationships in the market that are going to help us to grow volume?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question too, because I think the person, like, I personally, I struggle with it. So I find that I have 2 people out of 47 that one of their passions, and they're both big producers, and one of their passions is coaching and helping others. And it goes without saying, they succeed with it. I've got probably my number 12 person, which this would have never happened 4 years ago prior to me bringing on this person who, really loves coaching. It is basically underneath this person in only 2 years in the business. That just wouldn't have happened without that. I couldn't have done it. I don't have the patience, Melissa. So, but I think I think new people getting into this business, you really got to come up with your biggest challenge with new people coming into this business is you got to convince them not to be a broker. I mean, that's a huge challenge because, it's been documented through survey after survey that millennials and Gen Zers, who I love, and I think they're the future of our business, they like to work independently. They don't like to have a boss. They don't want to wake up and show up at 8 and leave at 5. Like, it's just not on their agenda, right? So I think you got to convince them that, they need to come into this business and do something with it. So, I think, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of IMBs over the next 6 months to a year start to embrace the TPO channel again, as a way to get them to at least give them business without having to have them hired underneath them. I think that's something we're definitely looking into, because that's a major concern of mine is like, I don't have a training platform. I don't have a way to bring them from 0 to up, without one of these two guys. And how else am I going to do it? So the other idea is that, well, if they're going to if you can't beat them, join them,
Even the most successful training programs that I've seen out there, the individuals that come out of them, if you compare them to the individuals that were mentored and coached by top producers, there's such a big difference between the two.
100%.
What you guys are doing is awesome.
Yeah. You got to have the why. You got to have a reason as to why you're doing it,
Yeah, for sure.
I remember
So Melissa, what you're saying is that when a company has a training program, the originators that come out of that are markedly different than those that were just kind of thrown in and given to, good old Rob sitting in the corner doing, 3 loans a month.
No, what I said was if you have an opportunity to be mentored and coached by a top producer, which might be 3 loans, but hopefully more than that. Coached and mentored by a top producer, when you come out of it's a different thing to learn on a computer screen and going through like programs than it is to like hear the messaging that people, how people deliver value to the market on a daily basis. You can learn a lot more, I think, from somebody that's in the trenches every day than going through a computer program. You still learn a lot going through it, please don't get me wrong, but the same time period spent in both, right? If you could spend 3 months with a top producer, you're going to come out very different than spending 3 months through a training program.
And that top producer is going to come out ahead too. I think that I am so convinced about social media. Like, I tell all my people, like, my most successful loan officers, no questions asked, are between the ages of 38 and 50, and they are on social media every single day.
Yeah.
And they are my most successful loan officers. No, it's not even close. And they just, I got one person. It's funny. He my mentor, and I love him to death, but he's more like a unicorn because he doesn't do social media and he still kills it. But he's got his own little niche up in North Oakland County. But the majority of them, you got to be on social media. And I think that if you can pair up a successful over 15-year loan officer who's been in retail, who's grinded, who does social media with someone who's younger, who embraces social media, I think that's a recipe for success.
100% agree.
Audrey, I can't quite read it, Melissa. Did you see Audrey's comment?
It says an LO learns structure and systems through a top producer, which is missed when you're just thrown into the mix to figure it out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with the younger people, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Real estate offices are empty.
Yeah.
Like for the person who isn't a call center person, I think the biggest struggle is where do you find them? And that's where social media comes in, right? Is that where do you find them? I mean, it's so I went into this real estate office last week and it was packed and I was blown away. Like, I mean, packed. It was like 60 people were in this place. I was like, are you having an event or something? He's like, no. He's like, that's my one rule is everyone comes to the office. And I was like, oh my God, I want to work with you. Like, I mean, and meanwhile, I can say whatever I want. I can say whatever I want in this office because I legitimately in this 4,000 square foot office am the only person here. Guys are lucky I'm wearing pants.
We don't have to know if you actually are, by the way.
You'll never know.
Golf slacks.
I think
Golf slacks.
it's your social media comment is just spot on. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Anytime you're doing videos and doing your message and your brand out there, your personal brand, your company, and all of that can make it a lot easier for somebody to pick up the phone, or make it a lot easier for them to answer a call as you're reaching out to them too. 100% agree.
So,
Go ahead,
Tim, were you hearing an echo there with Melissa, or was it just mine? Okay, all right. Are you seeing programs out there that are interesting in Michigan in terms of? Let me start that. I should have rehearsed that question before I asked it. Down payment assistance programs, big deal. Are they less profitable for lenders than non-down payment assistance program loans? And if so, why?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the board of the MMLA, the Michigan Mortgage Lenders Association, and my number one reason to be on the board is to get to MISTA, which is Michigan's bond program. They are just old in their guides, and that's the only problem, right? If they would just fix their guides a little bit, they could be profitable. The problem with the bond loans and the reason why some IMBs steer away from them, we do them. We're one of the number one MISTA lenders in the state, and we're big in Tennessee, and we're getting big in other areas. So we do them because we do them almost out of our fiduciary obligation to our consumer, right? But no, they're not profitable at all. And the reason being is because if you think about when they came up with the rules for MISTA, it was in 1989. That's when they came up with how much they were going to pay, what the DTI needed to be, and all this stuff so even in today's world, you can only make a little less than 3 points on a loan. And because of all their rules, it can't be bigger than 180. And in today's world, you guys all know the math, I mean, a loan costs $9,000-$10,000 to produce every loan. You're looking at $4,000 or $5,000 on these things. So, I mean, we do them much like a bank does has to do things for their FDIC insurance. We do the same thing. I mean, we do them as a fiduciary responsibility to the consumer. But I literally consider them, I call them charity loans for us, at least, not for them. I'm not saying it for them because it's the best deal for them. So we have to do it. But yeah, it's a struggle. I think one of the biggest issues out there that I am all over with the board and in DC and is anywhere that I can shout it from the rooftops is the affordable housing crisis. We have a severe problem. And the first builder that figures out how to make money and the first state to figure out for the builder how to make money building $250,000 homes is going to he will have so much business he won't know what to do with himself. In Michigan, we're the Motor City. So in my 22 years in this business, I have always said that we have what I call B areas, good homes. I bought in a B area when I first moved here, right? Like Berkeley, Michigan is the first house I ever bought. It was $180,000, right? That was the first house I ever bought. In my opinion, if the line workers can't afford homes in those areas, something's not right. Something's not right with the economy. When the middle class can't buy starter homes, that destroys our industry. So that's kind of what I'm all about right now, is doing something to help affordable housing, because you've got so many 25 to 35-year-old kids that want to buy homes, and it's not even close. It is not even close. They just can't. So I think that's our biggest issue. I think that's what's causing our inventory issue. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, it's such a huge issue. With the high rates, don't make it any better, and affordability. I just think I feel horrible, and that's why I'm trying to help the most.
Yeah,
Although, you know, it's not that easy.
But her family's in the building business, and it's hard to build a home these days for $250,000.
I know. Yeah, I got builder friends that they say the same thing. They're like, we got to start at 420 or there's nothing for us to make. It's too much risk to do anything else.
Yep, labor shortages. I mean, it's just it's all those
List
things.
goes on. Tim, are you going to capital markets in Manhattan?
I'm not. I've kind of tempered my travel to TMC and recruiting events. I think I'm sending my secondary guy though.
All right.
All right, we'll say hello to him while we're there.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. I went for fun. It's time to grow up, Melissa. I gotta work.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
You know, somebody else who's not going to Manhattan is Myrtle Turtle,
There we go.
because the G5 is in the shop, so she's not making the trek.
I love it. I love it. All right, we are all up at time today. Tim, thank you so much for joining us and
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
So Mimi, welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard, Mimi.
Thank you so much. It was great to meet you, Tim.
What's behind that curtain, Mimi?
You as well.
Oh, I can't show you. Sorry.
I love it. I love it.
It's just a window.
Thanks for having me, everyone. I'll see everyone in September. Saturday, Melissa, let's golf.
That sounds fantastic. I love it. Happy
All right.
Friday, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Yes, yes.